Starting a business can be exciting, but it also can be daunting. Where do you begin? On today's podcast, we speak with James Kwon of Figmints, who's developed 7 steps to help small business owners start, scale, and thrive.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, and welcome to the Marketing Essentials podcast. Our unique team helps small businesses grow by providing essential marketing expertise.
Hello and welcome to the Marketing Essentials podcast. I'm Bill with W. Parmentier Photography.
I'm Justin of Justin Kerr Design.
I'm Alicia with the Spark Social.
And together we make up
the Marketing Essentials team.
So today we have James Kwon with us today. Welcome, James.
Hey, everybody.
Let me give a quick bio before we get started. Today we're meeting with James Kwon, the CEO of Figmints Digital Creative Marketing. His marketing agency helps clients with lead, demand, and revenue generation through inbound marketing techniques. With Figmints, James has led his agency to year-over-year double-digit growth, digital growth, as is written here in the notes, with 20 employees and hundreds of clients served. In addition, he has also created 9 other businesses and has helped hundreds of small businesses start, scale, and thrive. James, welcome.
Ugh.
Too much there for you?
I hate hearing it. But,
really? Why is that?
I don't know. It's I try not to take the limelight. I'm like,
well, you know, we gotta tell who you are and why you're with us today.
I appreciate it. I like being here. Thank you again for inviting me.
I guess we say welcome back because you actually been on our podcast once before.
Yes, I'm excited to be back at the table. See your good-looking faces.
Aw, thanks.
Yeah.
That's why we stay behind the mic.
Yeah. We have faces built specifically for podcasting, audio only.
You beat me to it.
Yeah. So last time James was here, we talked a little bit about your marketing agency, what you guys provide. Today we're here on a different note because you have been working on an online course, and it's 7 steps to help businesses, as you say, grow, scale, and thrive. Did I get that right?
Start, scale, thrive. Yeah.
Start, scale, thrive. Okay.
We'll get it by the end of the podcast. We'll have it down pat.
So before we jump into the 7 steps, I was talking to James off the air, and there's a big why to this.
Yeah,
and I think that's important.
There's a few different reasons I started this course. One was I needed a hobby. I was watching too much TV.
I was going to say, you don't have enough going on with 9 businesses?
There's a lot going on. And I like having a lot of crazy things going on. But I started to help these small businesses who just were looking to start up. I had some friends, some family who needed to make some extra money. And I thought, I'd love to help you. And it just took too much work. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of things that we need to really start from scratch from. So I realized I needed a framework. But what I realized when I started to put it together was that there's something that really breaks my heart is my friends and associates, people I meet from high school, from church, who have good paying jobs and hate their life, basically, who wake up every day and just dread going to work, and work is a 4-letter word. And I hate that.
There were 4 of us in this room just nodding as you said that.
Exactly.
Yep, we know that one.
And so I think business is this amazing tool. It's this amazing asset that most people are scared of, I think, to approach and leverage it because it feels daunting. It feels like buying a house the first time, or it feels like this crazy big thing that seems unachievable. But it's so much easier than most people expect. And so I wanted to build something where it can help people who are looking to get out of the rut and also thrive in and of themselves, like find the joy in which they were designed for.
Yeah, 100%. When we were talking, this is a quote I took directly from you. So I love this. I truly believe that everyone should have a side hustle or a position that allows them to feel like they're fulfilling their life mission.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. And every person's mission is so unique. It's the Chariots of Fire. If you remember Chariots of Fire, that Eric Liddell, I don't run just to win. I run because when I do, I feel God's pleasure. I feel this I'm doing the thing I was built for. Right.
Sure.
And I love that. And just kind of brass tacks, there are just incredible advantages to having a business. There's incredible tax incentives. It's something you love and dreamed of, and you're passionate about your hobby. You can kind of create that as a business. And I see a lot of business owners who are, solos trying to kind of break that plateau or break that hump. And also people who are just really scared of just even entering it.
Sure. I think for me, it's like the limitless opportunity. Like you're in corporate, you can climb that ladder, break that glass ceiling, whatever the saying is. But there's like a point where you can't really get farther.
Sure.
You're going to plateau. And so owning a business allows you to craft that path. For me, anyway, that's a big one for me.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So the 7 steps, you said that you were mentoring. I think you mentor here in Providence, you said?
Yeah, I mentor at CIC, which is the Adventure Cafe, the beautiful new building out in Jewelry District. I mentor at SEG, and I used to be a mentor at Beta Spring. So a few different places that I kind of spend time with entrepreneurs and small businesses. And
you said you were getting a lot of the same questions, so that kind of led you to creating a framework.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same 5 to 10 questions over and over. It's like, how do I get the capital? How do I get my first customers? How am I going to market well? Which channel should I market in? And there's a dozen things for each answer, right? And it's always kind of starting in different places. And so I just realized I needed a systematic framework that people can follow. And building the 7 steps, really interestingly, if we go through the 7 steps, my personal background is in design and marketing, and that doesn't happen until step 4,
okay.
4 or 5.
That's good to know.
So it's, this is crafted in a way that really we're trying to break down what actually needs to happen at the beginning to get off the ground.
And so these are online courses, but the 7 steps are kind of like a fundamental framework.
Yeah.
So do you want to just run through all 7 and give us like a highlight?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay.
Yeah. So one other caveat, when I started doing research about, just go online and search, how do I start a business? You'll get a ton of articles, and almost all those articles start with, all right, the first thing you need to do is get a domain and then build a website.
An LLC or
and then, how am I going to register? And it's like those questions are nonsense, or those steps are nonsense.
Well, build a website and put what in it?
Exactly, yeah. So especially for step 1, and it becomes daunting, right? A lot of them have step 1, write a business plan, which I think is complete nonsense.
I still haven't written one 5 years later.
Yeah, it's just, it's going to be outdated the moment you press save. So step 1, I think, is an essential part of the process. I call it the $100 test. It's basically spending $100 to answer the 3 critical questions. Will people buy this thing or this service?
Nice.
How much will they pay, and where the heck are they? So those are kind of 3 questions that when you're about to go into business, you assume that you know that they're out there and they're going to pay, which is usually not true. So how can you spend a little bit of money and run some tests to figure out those questions, and before you roll into everything else? And that should happen before you do naming, before you do, domain searches, before you build a logo, right? Because once you do those things, you'll have better insight about what those things should be. So once you do that, number 2 is, I call it find 10 customers. So 10x in customers is all about trying to develop your first set of real customers who will pay you potentially even more than your normal customers might pay you. You might sell your products in bulk, or you might do consulting in the beginning for what you're going to do in long term. But what this helps is you practicing sales, which is arguably the most important thing in business. You have to be able to sell. So doing sales, and then right off the heels of that is you're going to get some seed funding. So you'll be able to raise something like $5,000 to $10,000 to launch the business. So critical step number 2. Number 3 is the 3 to 6 month runway. So this is all about starting, registering, figuring out your finances. How much money do you need until you go out of business, right? How can you last for another 6 months? And that has everything to do with, hey, how long did it take to sell those 10 customers that you had the step before? So this is where it gets fun. So steps 1, 2, 3 are really about starting. Steps 4 through 6 are about scaling. So step 4 is maybe the most fun, in my opinion, is look bigger. It's all about branding, website, looking bigger than you are. And again, this is kind of my personal background. And so it was like heart wrenching trying to save this until step 4. I often want to do this first, right? Yeah. But yeah, really critical information that you get in steps 1 through 3. So do that in step 4. Step 5, I think this is the most unique part of this program because I've never heard of this terminology before, but it's basically, it's something I call levers and gauges. So when you ask anybody, just your cousins, your parents, people who are not marketing people, around this room, I think we'll have some better answers. But if you said, hey, how am I going to market this product that I have here? What are the different ways that I can do it? People usually come up with maybe 3 to 5 different ways. Like, I can advertise on TV. I can buy Google AdWords. I can use social media somehow, right?
Somehow, yes.
Don't know how that is, but somehow.
When in reality, we'll call those things channels or levers, the different levers that you can pull. There's probably hundreds, if not an infinite amount of levers that you can pull in marketing. So you can run a specific campaign. You can run an event. You can run an event that ties to a digital campaign. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do. Which ones are right for you? Which ones can you afford to do? That's basically what step 5 is all about. Step 6 is building a team. So this is super hard. It was hard for me. I think this is, I certainly don't teach these 7 steps as me having done this perfectly. It's all about the pain and the scars and the,
well, that makes it
blood.
Authentic.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's building a team not only for people who want companies with employees, but also solopreneurs who you need a virtual team to really scale and automate things. So that's 6. And then 7, potentially the most important, is leave a thriving legacy. So now that you have this shiny new company, you have a responsibility too. It comes along with responsibility to make an impact in your community, make a lasting impact for your children, for your family, for the people around you, the people who you give salaries for. I mean, it's a big deal to have a company. So, yeah, those are the 7 steps.
Wow. Those are awesome.
Yeah.
I just looked up a quick stat, and so it's kind of depressing, but I'm going to read it. So business failure rate, 20% of businesses fail in their first year, 30% of small businesses fail in their second, and 50% fail in 5 years in business. So they always say that 5-year mark is, like that you made it type of thing. But in your opinion, you started this framework to help businesses get through that, to increase that success rate. And so out of the steps are they all equally important?
I think they're definitely, the importance is definitely weighted depending on where the company's at. Mm-hmm. So if it's just an idea and you haven't done anything yet, I think step 1 is probably the most important thing that you can do. If you've been in business for a year or 2 and you feel like you're plateauing a little bit, I think step 4 and 5 probably is, step 3, 4, 5 probably is the most important. And if you've been in business for 5 years, 10 years, and you feel like you've plateaued for a while, I think 5, 6, 7 probably is the most important.
So almost, even if it's not a new business, at almost any point you can jump in on this course for growth and scale. Okay, scalability. Nice. And so would you say in a particular type of business or any type of business too?
The way I designed this is mostly it's pretty general for any type of business. Okay. But I would imagine that the businesses that would get the most impact out of this would be really low income requiring or low startup capital requiring. So there are other businesses where, like real estate, you have to buy a building, right? So it throws this off a little bit. Investments, it kind of throws off a little bit. But most people who have a product or service that they're trying to launch out will make sense.
Nice. Okay. So with the $100 test, are you allowed to give examples of how people would go through that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my favorite example is, you guys know Tim Ferriss around the table, right? Mm-hmm. Most of your listeners, will probably know Tim Ferriss. So his first book, 4-Hour Workweek, extremely popular. Do you guys know how he wrote the second book or how he decided to write the second book?
No.
So this is when Barnes & Noble was still around. I guess they're still around, but it's a little sad. So what he did was, and this is so Tim Ferriss, the way to do this. He, instead of writing samples of the book, he designed a book jacket, and he went to Barnes & Noble and took books off the shelf and replaced it with his jacket. And then he put it back on the shelf and they sat back and watched as people walked by. And so people would walk by and he would score it. If people stopped, he'd give them a point. If he stopped and picked up a book, it was 2 points. If they tried to buy the book. It was like 10 points, right?
Hope he didn't let him.
And so he did that for, a few weeks, and he realized, people really want to hear more about this topic, because he's a polyglot. He could write about basically anything. So he realized, it's health and fitness and wellness and sex and, those topics. So he wrote 4 Hour Body, which I was on, and lost 40 pounds for my wedding, which is great. I gained it all back slowly over the course of marriage. I'm on it again, which is great because the new year, what the heck? So in my opinion, that's a great example of a $100 test. It's a low budget way to not have to build your entire world. You can start to see if the actual customers are out there to buy your thing.
True. Yeah. Before you go invest tons of money and time in a website, and then nobody comes and you're like, exactly, what the heck happened?
Right. Yeah. So obviously not everybody out there is going to be writing a book. And so the equivalent of that, in my opinion, is to leverage social media to build fake ads. So you can still build like a fake ad that talks about your product. You might be selling soda, and you're not sure what flavor is the best one, and you have 10 of them, but you should really focus on 3. So build the ads with those 10 flavors, and then see which one gets the most clicks.
That's true. I mean, we look at I think businesses become overwhelmed now because there's so many different marketing options. But with social media or digital or being creative, you can test things pretty quickly and easily.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a great advantage. And so do you help people come up with their individual test depending on the product service that they're pitching?
Yeah. So the way that this course is designed is flat James. It's like a virtual James online. And so I don't get a chance to talk to every single person unless they sign up for one-to-one coaching, which costs a little bit more, obviously. But setting up a private Facebook group for other individuals to chime in, because they all know what a $100 test is, and they can kind of share ideas and post things like that on the forum.
Nice.
Yeah.
Get 10 customers to buy your thing. That's a big one too, because now you've done the testing.
Yep.
So you need to actually go through with the sales process.
Right.
Okay. And where do you feel like people tend to stumble along these 7 steps? Because you said sales is the most important, or not the most important, but it's very, very.
It's of the most important.
Okay.
In business altogether. If you can't sell, you probably won't get very far. You have to
hire someone if you can't do it.
Yeah, you have to sell something, right?
Okay.
to be in sales or to be in business.
True.
So I think the mentality shift is all about how people perceive sales. So I talk about this in the class, that I think when I say salesperson, the image that you have in your mind is this like sleazy used car salesman, right? Yeah. And everybody feels that way because I think most people think of sales as like, I'm trying to trick you, when really sales is like, I have this great thing and I want you to have this great thing too. So when you can shift that mentality to sharing this joy that you have, right? And
preach from the mountaintop.
Yeah, and getting other people to get excited about it. Then there's things like consultative sales, and then just following up, and just being better at following up than your competitors are, right? Those things are just going to help you win.
Yeah, I could use help there. Yeah. Follow up is so hard.
It's so hard, but it's you can automate a lot of it today.
True. Yeah. That's a good point. You have to, approach it. I think if you really have this business, and if you're not drinking your own Kool-Aid, if you're not passionate about that, and you can't go out there and preach about it and talk about it and move away from like, I'm here to sell you, but I'm here because truly I'm starting this product or this service because it's going to make your life better.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Imagine I had the soda and I'm like, hey, do you maybe want to try this soda? Don't worry about it. You know what? Never mind. Don't worry about it. That's how I would sell if I didn't believe in it. And if I believe that this was going to change your life, I'm like, Alicia, this is exactly what you need. You need to have this thing. And
then you tell a story about how it changed your life.
Yeah. I wish I could give this to you for free, but I can't. Right? Yeah.
Awesome. So a 6-month runway, how to survive on your budget? Because I think a lot of people who maybe get through those first 2 steps and they're really excited, they know they have this great product, but maybe they didn't really have the, foresight of what is it going to take for startup costs? What is it going to take for me to literally pay my bills? And I read all these stories in Entrepreneur magazine or online and stuff. It's like, we were on the verge of bankruptcy. We were $2 million in debt. I had to sell my dream home and I had to turn it all around. And it's like that, great story, because maybe they just didn't have that 6-month plan in place?
Yeah, I'd say most people that you hear stories like that from, I'd say that they're guessing. They're like, we need $10,000 to just survive another 2 months, and I'm crossing my fingers. I'm hoping that we do survive. When in reality, you could start to break down how much effort and time and dollars did it take to get this one customer, and how can I replicate that? How can I get that next customer? Do I have enough time? Do I have enough capital? And so kind of mapping that out. It's fairly simple math. I think it's like 5th grade math that you could probably start to map out.
Well, I'm screwed. Why do you think I went to art school, James?
That's right. So you could figure out, all right, well, the baseline, the absolute cheapest that I can survive is going to be $3,000. I can eat ramen. I can, live in a box. I could, live in somebody's basement. And so I don't need a lot. So if I could sell more than 3,000, well, then I'm going to have an infinite runway, right?
Nice.
So it's just looking at your finances like that. I think most people are just not, they're just not breaking it down and holding themselves accountable to the budget.
Also, it's scary to look at numbers.
I was just going to say the same
it's
thing,
like
yeah.
that. Well, like this is a make it or break it type of situation, or a reality check, or numbers can be really daunting and scary to people.
Yeah. I am fueling the stereotype. I love math. I'm like an Asian, and I think Asians love math because we were forced to love math. I went to math class, like after school class.
Mathletics.
Yeah, right. Kumon, it's still around. I went to that. And I really enjoy looking at the numbers and kind of slicing it up and dicing it apart. But honestly, I didn't do this on purpose when I started. I was better at sales. And so if you keep selling this, the 3 to 6 month runway just kind of grows because you could do two things, right? You can fill the top of the funnel or you can reduce the bottom, reduce your costs. So we just kept selling. So that was how we grew. But I know lots of companies who are like, if I'm going to run this company, it needs $10,000 a month to survive. So, all right, well, we need to figure out how to get $10,001 a month.
And there's obviously your steps are done in a logical order because, a lot of people maybe they made it through the first 2 steps on their own and they're like, yes, I sold something, but they're not looking at what we call CAC, or cost of acquisition, client acquisition cost.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. So, or the time frame that it took to get them through the funnel. So if you're selling a $3 soda, but it took you a week to sell 1 soda.
And $10 of advertising costs. Yeah. Paper and pen and markers.
That's not really
you're not in business. Yeah. That's a hobby. Yeah. When you spend more dollars than you make, that's a hobby. But if you are, so that's a magical transition too, right? I mean, once your hobby starts to make you money, then it's a business.
Yeah. And then, so going on to number 4, this sounds really fun. Scaling and looking bigger than you are.
Yeah, so good. I have a design background, graphic design major and culinary major. So I really like art. I really like and enjoy telling the story to make people look bigger. That's basically how we started Figmints. And I think most people out there will build it in a way that this becomes, for some people, this is last on their list. This is like, I'll make a logo. Do I need a website? I'll just throw something together.
Facebook, why use a website?
Justin seething over there.
I hear this.
I've gotten that question. Yeah. Do I need a website? Do you want to be in business?
Right. Well, it's validity, right? Imagine, I guess not. I guess the answer is no. You don't need a website to be a business, but what kind of business do you have? Are you getting the results that you're looking for as a goal? Probably not. And the magic today, so the quote from Steve Jobs, he said this in 1995, the smallest company in the world can look as large as the largest company on the web. He said that in 95, which is so visionary.
Shit, yeah. Am I allowed to say that on the podcast?
And you are now.
So the internet's being born. He's like, wow, this levels the playing field, right? Kind of an unbelievable, thought process to have in 95.
Yeah.
Especially since that was the beginning of the web.
It was the beginning, yeah.
Yeah.
So really quick.
Al Gore created that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Moving on.
That's right.
I couldn't resist. Sorry.
So really quick, a couple ways to look bigger than you do. Have a great website. Maybe do some video marketing. I don't know. What else?
Have some video marketing. Take your naming and branding seriously.
Yes. Justin's over here liking that one a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I get my hands in there like a Pentecostal. Yep.
Yeah. And then,
Absolutely.
and Justin said it, tell these stories that sound big, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you can drop a name from a big brand, drop a famous person that might like it, call them and say, hey, would you buy this soda? It's like, yeah, I'd probably try that soda. It's like, oh, this famous person said he'd try this soda.
Yeah, and that's marketing to take those like little pieces and craft them into content and stories. And
Exactly.
So levers engages. This is, did I get that one right?
Yeah.
Next
So,
up.
in a short amount of time. So I'm going to try to fly through this, but levers engages is all about what I can actively do to see better results. So see more leads happen, see increase in traffic, better conversion rate. All that stuff matters. And there's lots of different things that I can do to start different levers I can pull to make that happen.
Yeah, it sounds like that's a really in-depth one.
Mm-hmm.
In-depth.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say that is a big piece. That's all marketing right there.
Mm-hmm.
And my advice is work with a professional.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Sure.
Even if you have to barter, but work with a professional to get your marketing in order, because there are so many levers and so many gauges that you could put in place, but you need to put the right ones in
You
place.
need to know which ones.
At the very least, to consult with them, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And to guide you in the right path. And then, you can do all of this yourself. It's just, you just have to learn a lot.
Mm-hmm. You got to be willing to learn.
And, exactly. You could go read a bunch of articles, look at a bunch of YouTube videos, or you could go and have a 2-hour consultation with somebody who's already done this.
Right.
Save yourself a lot of time.
Exactly. Take the course.
Take the course. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't reinvent the wheel, right?
Yeah. Why? If you don't have to,
I agree.
why would you?
I agree. So what do we have? We're building the team. What does a team look like?
This is probably the hardest lesson that I learned in business. Was I'm an efficiency guy. I like to do everything efficiently. My wife hates that, but I realized that loving people is on purpose the least efficient thing that you can do. It's the opposite of it being efficient. So you cannot love people efficiently. Right. And I hate that. And I realized that too late in business, and it broke it created a lot of bad relationships, bad communication, bad dynamic. And so that shift really makes kind of your understanding of how you need to treat people, whether they're in India and Philippines or they're next across the desk from you, right? So that's a big part, but also being able to scale using those outside teams is kind of a big deal.
So do you mean like hiring someone just not because you like them, or is that what you mean? Or
yeah, sure. I mean, that's part of it, but treating them like a human being. Like I would, very often, especially early on, I would treat them like a cog. Okay, great. You're doing these 10 things, and I'm over here doing these things, and great. You're often doing that. When we grew and we had, 2 people as designers, I was like, oh, the first one I hired, number 1, you are now this guy's boss. Have a good day, and I would leave. And that was a terrible way to, train. There's no training process. There's, that's very unloving. It's a very inefficient way to do it at the end of the day.
And
so I guess if your advice would be, I'm sorry, Alicia,
go for it.
If you're going to be inefficient anywhere in your business, it would be this area here.
Me personally?
Yeah. If you were looking at it going, well, if there's going to be one component of this, it's going to be not so efficient. It'll be building these relationships.
Even in the efficiency that you create here, there's going to be inefficiencies in the way that you treat people, right? And I think that's kind of the punchline in this step. But there are efficiencies that you can create through remote teams and things like that as a solopreneur, and outsourcing your stuff, finding professionals. But this is gonna be the hardest one to master, I think.
Okay.
So you go through these 7 steps. We're coming up to the 7th step, but you go through these 7 steps online, James, in about how long in your course? So
they're timed out every 2 weeks, but then also every month there's a live Q&A. And then that Facebook group that is ongoing. So
what if you're going through this, you're not ready yet to have a team? Do you help the business owner, entrepreneur, like come up with that vision of a team? If I'm helping them coach, or if I'm doing coaching with them, for sure. Otherwise, they get some feedback from the rest of the class, their cohort that's in it. And I would say that there are lots of different tools that you can use. That the course is filled with links to different software and different recommendations that I have. And you can always go back to these are available for them forever. Yes. Okay. Yeah. But the unique thing about this one is that it's timed out. So
So if you take when you start, you only get the first class. And then you get the class kind of as you go. You don't get them all at once.
Nice.
Oh, you can't binge, huh?
You don't binge. Not the Netflix model.
Okay.
Can I do one quick, for your listeners, can I do a quick offer for them? I wanted to give them the free intro to the class. And anybody who signs up, we'll give them the biggest discount that we've had or been giving out. And one person who signs up just for the free intro will get a free entry into the program.
Oh, like a contest or a raffle?
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Very cool.
Wow.
So bringing us to number 7.
Oh, yes. All right.
This one I think is one that people overlook, right? Because they're just like in the weeds, getting started. And then this one's exciting though. Leaving a legacy for your. What does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the question. What does the company mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of mark are you going to leave? I love this idea. It kind of is phrased in this one way, which I think is genius. If your company were to disappear, who would notice? Who would feel the impact of that? And if your answer is nobody, that's bad. If your answer is, I guess we wouldn't have an income anymore, or my family would suffer. That's not great. Think about how impactful you are to the community. You are by not only giving your time, giving your resources, by the clients that you serve, the people that you interact with. You should be lasting a positive impact. You should be making a mark, a dent in the community.
I like this one. I love that one because I think when you start out, it's so hard to envision how things will be when you are selling the business or leaving the business, that exit strategy, that when you can sit down and think about this, it brings you back to your vision, your why, really being able to dig in on that. And that's part of your marketing. And that can keep you excited when you have that long-term vision in place from the start.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. And honestly, I'm going to say I have not done number 7. I mean, I'm probably missing a few other steps in depth.
I don't think I've done it either.
Yeah.
But I think your desire is there, right? To do it, and you're thinking about it. It's in the back of your mind. I would, when we go through the course, there's a part in that last part that Thriving that talks about having the heart for that early and figuring out what breaks your heart, right? So Side Thrive, this course, I call it Side Thrive. Working title, we'll see if it stays Side Thrive.
Side Thrive.
Yeah.
Side Thrive. It's like side hustle, but not just hustle.
Right.
Thriving.
Yeah. So I'm sure you've got a logo and everything all.
Sorta, yeah.
I
slapped it together. Yeah, it looks bigger than it is. But it's sidethrive.com. So if you want to sign up and check it out, go there. But this is my Side Thrive. I really enjoy seeing these entrepreneurs succeed. I want to see small businesses see their full potential realized. That's the mission of Figmints and myself. So this is part of seeing that mission fulfilled. So yeah.
Nice. So any last closing points on anything that you can think of to sum up the 7 steps?
Sum up the 7 steps.
Take the course.
Take the course. Yeah, I think step 7 is that good summary. Is that if you're willing to go into business, it's not just this shiny thing. It's not just a shiny object. It is a responsibility, right? Yeah. And if you are up for it, there's an amazing world that comes along with it of this. You have an asset, you have tax write-offs, you have this ability to impact people, not just internally, yourself, your family, your employees, your community, your clients, everybody you serve. And there's so many good things that can come out of it. Again, but it's a big responsibility. I'm excited to try to get people through that.
Nice. Awesome. And you already said the website, but just to kind of
Side Thrive, SIDETHRIVE.com.
Nice.
Side Thrive.
And they can also find you on
I'm on LinkedIn, and I guess Facebook is probably the most active place that I'm at, but James at Figmints works if you want to go there. FIGMINTS.
We'll put all that in the show notes.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Awesome. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Well, thank you.
This
is always fun.
Oh, great. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed. But thank you so much. And we will catch everyone next time, I guess.
All right. Till then, see ya.
See ya. Thank you for joining us today. And as always, you can find the back episodes of our podcast on Apple Podcasts. And you can also find us on our YouTube channel. Both of them are the Marketing Essentials team.
You can find us on the web at marketingessentialsteam.com. And if you subscribe through our website, you'll receive a weekly email and letting you know when each episode has been published. Also, you'll receive a link to subscriber-only content.
You can also find us on Facebook in our private Facebook group. Just search Little Roadie Marketing Support Group. It's a great place for other marketing professionals and business owners where we can share marketing advice, challenges, and general trends. Hope to see you there.